What's up, everybody? This is the Elsewhere OST. I was kind of thinking, oh, chill vibes. This is not as much. One sec. Let me get this over to something a little less energetic. There you go. Alright, so yeah. Today's just gonna be a chill stream. I'm not really doing a whole lot. I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm in my moose robe. Bucket kind of day. And I'm drinking some Monument City. Uh-oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Monument City Belgian Belle. Which my partner, who does not like bitter things, was like, actually, this might be okay. It's got a little bit of rye taste in it, but it's not too bitter. So I'm hopeful I can get her into can be an inroad. So yeah, I've got a couple of holes here in the Stros M'Kai, or port hunting NPC planning that I want to fill. Thankfully nothing crazy, but I gotta just futz around with this stuff. And I might want to look at Redguard in the dock storehouse, which is the bridge building, the famous bridge building. Because I know in Redguard, one of them was just like a lookout for some reason. But I want to take an actual look. And this fortune teller, which is... might take a couple of these. Might take this and nix this. So I don't like two houses being dedicated to the previous Ute. Oh, here, no. There you go. Increase the zoom a little bit so it's a little more visible. And the vizier and his wives. Yep. So that's my general plan. And I'm probably going to head in game at some point and do some get some images for the tabletop conversion that I've been working on. So fortune teller, I don't. It's a thing that they did in Redguard, sort of like playing into that very Romani Middle Eastern. I mean, Romanis are not Middle Eastern, they're like Eastern European, but still, it was melding that kind of thing. I just don't personally love this, like, having fortunes read out to the player mechanic. And I think that could cause a lot of issues. So I might just nix that. We've got... It's actually a quick list of what we do have. We've got fisherman, we've got smith. Who do we have for training? Actually, wait. All right, small diversion. I've been told by an audio engineer. I want to take a look at these lines because he mentioned there were some issues with them. You're so quiet. I don't even see anything in the audio. All right, wait a minute. Download it real quick. Yeah, just download it.
A nudry, eh?
Okay.
Well, what can I get for you? A nudry, eh? Well, what can I get for you? It's unusual I get anyone coming directly to me. You must be a keen smith yourself. The techniques I use originated on Yokuda. You'd be hard-pressed to find better metalwork. Yet another visitor. You used to be a rarity. Are you lost? Be careful on your return.
Gonna split your belly like an old woman's purse!
Yeah, they are quieter than the...
I bet she would feel safer, and hopefully you wouldn't have to babysit her for long.
They are noticeably quieter than the vanilla Skyrim line.
A nudry, eh? Well, what techniques I use originated on Yokuda. You'd be hard-pressed to find better metalwork. Yet another visitor. You used to be a rarity. Are you lost? Be careful on your return journey.
He said he was noticing some room tone. I'm not hearing it. But I'm also not on headphones.
She's not used to.
Them being so quiet, though, is an issue. I don't like that. Alright. Well, I will relay this to the people for whom that... Checked on them myself. Definitely noticeably quieter than vanilla reference lines. Alright. So back to it. We've got fisherman, we've got smith. What else do we need for services? Innkeeper? Do we have an inn? We've got the Dragon Tail Inn. So that covers innkeeper. Which will also cover food. We've got bunkhouse, Shem house, art, jewelry, and clothing shop. I'm gonna go ahead and underline that just to make sure that that is highlighted. So that's a jewelry and clothing shop. That's no problem. That's just an extra. Alchemist. That would be there. Cartography, which is an extra. Mage's Guild for spells. Tuaka, which is an extra. and unhoused. So anything that we are missing in terms of services. Hey, what's up? Trainer, possibly. General store, actually, I don't think is covered. Innkeeper sort of covered food and drink, but I do not see a general store. So we've got Smith in 2, shop in 5, shop in 8, shop in 9. 2, 5, 8, 9. 2 down here, which will be the Smith. That makes sense. 2, 5, 8, 9. 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are unaccounted for. Okay. So that actually works out fairly nicely. I can take this middle class house for a general store. Possibly even a pawn? I could wrap that up as a pawn shop. Love you elsewhere. Wanted to get like a different vibe, but it's getting a little too difficult to manage. So chill out, mix. Previous captain of the guard. But both of these are middle class. Okay. 6 and 7. 6 is this one. I feel like this would probably be better for a general store. Thank you. No, this you know, I'm filling in holes. That's what I find easy. Is, you know, looking at stuff and going, okay, what are we not hitting? I oftentimes, for me, find it harder to start up on a blank page than it is to look at something like this and go, okay, what's not here?
Murder, banditry, assault, theft.
So 6, I think, will be better. This has like a nice little terrace out on the front. This one, I think, looks more like a private residence. So then we'll have shop, 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 shop. And then the Dragon Tail Inn. And all of this, which is kind of... Some of them are shops. I guess it's more of like a faction hub. Since you've got the temple and the Mages Guild here. And then 11, which I forget. What is 11? No, okay, 11 should not be the Dragon Tail. 10 should be the Dragon Tail. So actually, I should fix that right now. Upper class house, 11. So I'll just take this to 11. That's that. Put you down here. I still don't know about this, so I will go ahead and highlight that, and I'll take a look at it later. This is 10. Because I remember we looked at this building before, and it's more, Hey man, how are you? I'm just doing some writing today. It's going to be a chill day. We looked at this building, and this, like, it just feels better as an inn than this one. This feels like a residence. So we'll have an upper class residence. Which I get the idea of the writer here. That could make sense for the, like, surviving royal family. But if we've only got this one other upper class house, yeah, I feel like that's too nice for how I want to portray this Ute, which is a king. It's basically an equivalent to a king. And I feel like them hanging around for something like 20 years now, because they would have lost power at the end of actually during the Great War, so possibly longer than 20 years. Feels too nice. I don't like that. It doesn't give them enough edge, as opposed to putting like a historically, moneyed old money family here. And it's a pretty big house, so 2 people, I think. I might want to bring that up to like 3 or 4, because it can fit them. So 6 is going to be our general store. It's right in front of the palace. That doesn't super duper matter. So I'll get rid of this. I don't love this concept anyway, so I'm gonna just not worry about that. Get out of here. Boop. Get out of there. Why are you spaced strangely? Thank you. Now, give me bullets. So I could flavor it as like a quartermaster sort of thing, like a guard thing. Let's see. Historical. Is there anything like it might? No. I mean, maybe having a pawn shop right outside the palace actually is a good prawn. Okay, so there is, and that's a general goods store, so that makes sense. Cool. So that's like not it's not strange within the universe to have that as a pawn shop. There's the Bean Barn, center of Riften. All good, that all makes sense. Might I want to swap like the alchemy shop? No, because I liked the alchemy shop here, because then that made sense with the farm out here that they would get herbs like just from outside of the wall. And then cartographers has to be there because it doesn't have to be there, but I want it to be closer to there because that's where it was in TES Redguard. So no, I think 6S General Store is just where it's gonna happen. It's just what it's gonna be. Anything fun? Region, Daggerfall, Glen Point, Northmore. Sure, give me something interesting. No, okay, right. Because outside of there, it would all be randomly generated anyway. Shakora, Orsinium. don't love any of these names, to be honest. No. I know there was a Fool's Ebony. But that's like more of a high rock thing, isn't it? I think. Seen in Daggerfall. So let's see, we've got a lot of red guards. How many Imperials do we have? Imperial female for a wife. Imperial male in that. Imperial for the EC. Nope. Not what I wanted, thank you. Okay. So I think we can squeeze in either another Imperial or something like that. A Bosmer. Okay, we do have some Bosmer. Do we have an Orc? No. Okay, it's not letting me quit out of the find function. That's fine. So let's get something like a middle-aged. Should not be an Altimer. Worker Imperial. I think for the thematic through line, I think it wants to be an Imperial. So give me like Vassius, Aloysius. Aloysius? Aloysius. Aloysius something or other. Aloysius. What do we know about their no, because he was shipped in anyway. So yeah, because he's like actually Cyrodiilic. I'm trying to be chill. My actual real life has kind of gone crazy recently. Like, it's not terrible, but my partner recently had thyroid surgery, and so she's been out of work for the past 2 weeks recovering. So I gotta go bring my car in for like a big repair. It's just a bunch of like stuff I gotta do. So one of the reasons I haven't been streaming as much recently is just like to get one extra thing off my plate. Lauren Leviticus. Lord Leviticus. Arias Goneld Green Gregory. These are the family names, yes. Savello, Duranus. Aloysius Calvina is not bad. Aloysius Calvin. Totally fine. Um, uh, Middle-aged male imperial. 1 second, let me stop my cat from eating himself. But yeah. Everything's going all right, though. Actually, we did get our test results back from that surgery. No cancer, which is good. She's just dealing with not having half her thyroid right now, which is a big, just like, big chemical change for her body. That's been interesting to coach through. I've experienced with chronic pain, so that's, not nothing. Thank you, Psycho. I am trying, doing my best to do all the things I want to do. Middle-aged male imperial. How would he have gotten this building? What originally was this building? It might have been nothing in Redguard. It's not all the buildings were enterable. Stros M'Kai, Fort Hunting Lore page. I know that there is a interactive map that someone has. Oh, and the actual image, which is fantastic. No, let me actually zoom into you. Alright, so up here you have the... Oh, there just wasn't any buildings. Yeah, okay. So it just led straight into the central square here. And then the old quarter over here. So this was where all your main stuff is, and then you have the docks quarters. So honestly, that's fine. That's cool. It's just a new build. Middle-aged male imperial.
Jazargo is ready for more adventure.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Moved into port hunting before the Great War. Maybe I should make him older. Maybe not an actual elder, but old. Because the... NPC ages. Age. No idea, but I'm pretty sure there is a... It goes child as its own race, young, middle-aged, old, and then elder as its own race. Oh, hey, yeah. Actually, let me pop onto Reddit and see if anyone replied to that. Nope, doesn't seem so. But yeah, that was cool. I am occasionally on Reddit. Okay. For the Great War, should he have a family with him? It's a middle class house, so it could fit multiple people. I'll figure it out. Before the Great War, and was able to keep his pawning is different than buying back. Pawn rates, is that like a thing that you can say? Yeah, what interest rate for pawning? Okay. Generously low pawning rates and yeah, I can just leave it with that. He's giving people good deals, is the idea.
Gold solves most problems, doesn't it?
There you go. Oh, thank you so much. What vampire clan could live in Stros? I know that there was a canonical one in... At least I think, was there a canonical one in Daggerfall? Or did they only cover the handcrafted sections? Actually, I think they might have only covered the handcrafted sections. Yeah, okay. Vivongora, Alakir Desert, Vrathith is the one up here in the Daggerfall section. And Thotis down here. And Selenu along the coast. So, because the Abetian Isles aren't all that much south, yeah. It could actually be Vrathith, but I would say it's probably Selenu or Enthotis. Probably Selenu would be my top top pick. We do have a Kulari. Kulari's over here. That doesn't make as much sense if they were to stretch into the Abetian. That I think it would be Selenu. You could make the argument, I think, for Anthotis in the outer Abetian because it's much more arid than even like these coastal regions are going to be. But I think Selenu is probably the most likely. Are they one of the ones that I picked out to possibly be included in Iliac Bay? I don't remember. I remember Vrathith was one, and I think Anthotis was one. I'm pretty sure Anthotis was one. I don't remember. I know I picked 5 out of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I picked 5 out of these, and I don't remember which ones. It's written somewhere. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm answering your question already. There you go. Yeah. We are planning to see the various vampire clans. I want to have them as like a joinable faction. Mainly for High Rocks. Like we are. We're taking the Dark Brotherhood faction slot. And instead of assassins, we're being like, okay, well, this is like the evil choice. So we don't have to, lock ourselves into it is specifically assassins. Because that can get kind of boring and repetitive. So vampires was my thought for High Rocks. And what I would want to do with that is you're mainly following Vrassith throughout the whole thing, which is like our version of Ventru. Which, from what I understand, having all of these bloodlines in Daggerfall was kind of inspired by Vampire the Masquerade anyway. Oh yeah. How many Monkey Island Easter eggs will there be? There are already several. Like, written, implemented, voiced. There is an insult pirate that you can meet that does basically the same mechanics from Monkey Island. There are I know there are some lines. Yeah, there's some combat lines that are like you fight like a dairy farmer and stuff like that. No, I don't think you're gonna find any art for these. They didn't have anything really in Daggerfall. Like any of these you went to, you became a vampire of any of these. It just did a slightly different stat differential. They didn't have any unique like visuals or anything. It was all just vampires. Montalion? Oh yeah, because they do actually stretch between High Rock and Hammerfell. That's a good point. Any idea on their attire? Not quite yet. And that's something that I don't really handle, so it's something I don't really think about. Because I'm focused on like the narrative and implementation side, and the art and like 3D stuff is just I'm already doing so much. I just kind of try to not to think about that. I'll let other people handle that part. Yeah, they don't even have art. Yeah, no, they don't use any sort of symbols or nothing like that. Let me see if I can find that. I know we have that written down. Let me see if I can find the breakdown that I had of which ones I was looking at. Actions Mayfield. Use vampires as the evil faction. Did we have the... Yes, okay, here we go. Vrassith. Vampire Ball. Anthotis, which I had spelled incorrectly here. So I had Vrassith, Anthotis, Garlithi, Montalion, and we were not sure about the other one. Someone used this, or suggested this, like, blood husks idea, which is just a completely unique thing, but I'm not sure about that. So it might end up being... So, Vrassith is High Rock, Garlithi is High Rock. Montalion is both. And Thadis, and then probably Selenu would make sense. So then we've got 2 High Rock, 1 both, 2 Hammerfell. Kulari paralyzed. Ooh, that's interesting. Kulari over here. Yeah, what do they actually do? Oh wait, that's what I used to get here. There we go. Anthodis, Intelligence, Shield Spell, Ice Storm, Wildfire, Paralysis in Kularia, Invisibility Spell, Silence Spell, Free Action Spell, Resist Cold, Resist Fire, Resist Shock, Heal, and Nimbleness. Huh. Okay. Yeah. You can work something out with those. Any magic carpets? It's something that people have talked about, but there hasn't been any like actual work put into it at this point. But probably when we get to the actual Alakir Desert, yeah. So interesting, like 1, 2 Garlithi shield spell that works, but like 2 out of the 5 use spells, at least in Daggerfall, that don't really exist in Skyrim. Wait, there's a cure paralysis potion. There's not a cure paralysis spell. Mass paralysis rune. There's no cure. Oh, there is no cure paralysis effect at all. Okay. Wow. Dragonstar and Evermore would be worked on after 3K. That's sort of the plan. We do have Dragonstar like mapped out at least, and I have a decent idea of what I would want to do with it. So that's what I would like to do. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, totally. I have to look into all the vampire mechanics and see what I can actually do with them in the CK, because I'm not really sure. Whatever happened to that Dwemer? Still there. We have a temp model for it right now, which is like, I think it's the dome that is on the ceiling of one of the Dwemer ruins in vanilla Skyrim, but like eventually we're going to replace that with something. What exactly, I don't know. But we do plan for it to be enterable. It's probably going to be pretty busted up. It's not going to be like it was in Redguard, but we do plan to have it there and enterable. Respect goings on. Can I transform control? I honestly don't know anything about those. So if you have anything that can help us, let us know. I feel like I've seen people do magic carpets. Like, it's definitely possible. It just takes, like, you know, we gotta sit down and do it. Yeah, I actually kind of like this character now. I'm debating if I want to give him, like, a kid or something. I'm not sure. I'll take a look after, you know, I get a full count, of how many slots we might still have for characters. Will BL say horse tribe? Not 100%, probably, because I know that they had quite odd names. At least the, like, 2 or 3 that we know. Horse tribes. We'll say horse tribes. There we go. Yeah, it was like Vendrix or something. Battle and Calor. Yeah, where was the name of, like, their main big guy? Wave the Horseman. You'll say River Tribes. King Bride. Led by Chief Limbiz. Limbiz. And yeah, there we go. And Mindothrax. Mindothrax. It sounds like an evil wizard. So yeah, we might go off of that and give them some interesting names. As of right now, we do not have any plans to include these, like, red guards near Shorthelm. That is a weird thing. I think that's an ESO thing. Horsefolk of Silverhoof. ESO, yeah. So, it's optional lore for us. I do love Mindothrax. Mindothrax. Mindothrax, the Mind Taker. Former guard captain. I do kind of like that. Oh, but having it so close to the palace, I don't like. Have there been any quests written that involve talking animals? Not just yet. there's not a quest, but there is a unique gremlin NPC that you can sort of talk to. He's like a secret gremlin merchant that you can find, so that's already implemented. Other than that, no. I did figure out how to do like consistent conversation with animals, which is a little more difficult than you might think. But I don't think we've had any like quests written with that just yet. Possibly on Stros M'Kai, we'll see. I gotta get through the NPC planning before we worry about quests. Yeah, I don't love having like the former guard captain and whatnot. I would much prefer that be current guard captain, which actually I might do. Like having that right outside the palace is actually pretty sweet. 1 and 2, Fisherman's House. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then 3, so I'll look at 3 as to what that wants to be. Maybe 11 will be the former stuff. Maybe I was too quick to toss that away. We take some inspiration from ESO, but it's optional for us. So it's very much a case of like, do we like specifically what ESO did? And for a lot of Hammerfell, to be honest, ESO was kind of weak. I did not like a lot of their Hammerfell stuff, so I've got to be convinced. We do take inspiration from some of it, though. Like, I know on our Stros M'Kai, we do have the Pillar of the Singing Sun, which was an ESO location. No, I haven't, and I should do a Braddock Karmer plugin. In fact, I could do that on stream, like, right now. And I probably should. But I want to finish this first. And like Halcyon was an ESO. Yeah, we take some of the like some of the areas, we take some of the locations from like areas that haven't had a lot of development elsewise or like elsewhere. Not like elsewhere, but elsewhere in the Elder Scrolls canon. Yeah. So, you know, we take some inspiration from it, but I'm not like paying lip service to everything that happened in ESO. How do I feel about ESO Somerset's architecture? I don't know, because I haven't played it. I think Somerset still costs money. I don't spend money on ESO. I got it for free. I really only played the stuff that was free. Free. I think I got it for like $1 or $2 or whatever. Or it was free for something. I forget. But I got it for very cheap, and I don't really spend money on it. Alright. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of ESO, to be honest. Oh, alright. If they're releasing Somerset for free, maybe I'll check it out. I would have to clear out a bunch of stuff, because it takes like, you have to clear out like 100 gigs just to install base game ESO. I wonder if the Spellscar will have existed. I know Garfield was talking about having the Nern Crux thing. I don't personally love it, like, as a plot line, and it feels weird. Like, I don't know what we would do with it. So I think that has since been, like, we're not really sure if we want to do that. What is the spell scar? Oh man, like it's a unique model. I don't want to have to do a unique model for something like that. That's nothing. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess that's like the inside of it. Giant obelisk that crashed into Tanriel. Eh. Spell scar from a distance. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks so much. Yeah, I don't like that at all. This was another issue that I had with the Nern Crux thing. Was like, it's supposed to be this huge freaking thing, but like, it's... We don't have a lot of budget for huge fucking things in our world space. We've already got the Adamantine Tower, and probably Fang Lair is going to be tall. Like, if you have too many tall things, it gets unwieldy. It gets, like, visually busy in a way that's not going to be fun. So I would say probably not. Because, yeah, really, I think Adamantine Tower should dominate the skyline. Period. End of discussion, as far as I'm concerned. That should be, like, the tallest from sea level, tallest thing. Fang Lair is obviously raised up to begin with, so it's going to be, like, tall, but, like... And that can be kind of tall, but it shouldn't be as tall as it was in the old height map. Because the old height map, you could see it from Skyrim, and that was not good. We should not do that. Nern Crux is the thing. Dungeon 2 can work, not as everywhere in Craglorn. Yeah, I don't know. I know our Craglorn also is going to have the Sage's Fortress for Ghyrin Vardengroat, and that I'm more interested to write, to be honest. Because I want to take some inspiration from... I mean, the Sage is already, like... It's ESO Elminster. And I have been a D&D nerd for 20-something years now. I know some things about Elminster that, you know, don't come up a whole lot. And I think it could be fun to incorporate some of that stuff into... Elder Scrolls lore, like really high-level wizard shit. Like, oh, I'm not here right now, but I have wards on this entire building, and if you fuck anything up, you are going into a plane of existence that no one speaks of. Like, that kind of thing. I think, what was it? It's like a viewing platform that Elminster has in one of the planets within the solar system that encompasses the Forgotten Realms. Because there's like the main planet, and then there's like other planets that you can get to with spell jamming stuff. And he has like a viewing platform that's looking at an ancient dragon in the center of one of these planets. And there is an inscription in the door that you can only read. It is not a language. You can only read it if you cast Detect Languages on it. And it's not like any actual language that exists. But if you do that, it just reads, identify next of kin before entering. And I love that shit. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. That's so good. Yeah, we do plan on Daraki needs. We have some bits. Uh, Basically, we have some bits like taken from other Skyrim projects that have kind of failed or petered out. That were donated to us. That we are like um in the process of looking at, okay, can we use these for Daraki ruins? How do we expand these to make, because they're not complete right now, but they are a decent basis from which we could do Doraki ruins. And our primary plan is it would be Doraki ruins for the most part. We might pay lip service to the Keptu and some of the other tribes that were around Hammerfell, but they're not going to have like unique assets or anything. It's just going to be like a Doraki ruin with a note mentioning Keptu or something. Could do that. I mean, honestly, the issue that I have with Spellscar is just that this would require. It seems like this would require a unique model. I don't love that. I don't love a hero like one-time use 3D model. It is just a rock, which is fairly easy, but like, no, I don't love it. It's just a very inefficient use of time and assets. I don't know what all this frost and fire stuff is about. Oh, I thought she had like a second arm there for a second, but no. Okay. She has two arms, but a third arm. Yeah, something like that. But you know, this is all plans for before we actually get to the areas. So if things change, things might change. We might have some 3D artist who is like, I really want to do the Spellscar, and they just fucking do it, and then it's like, okay, well, we have it. Sometimes that is how decisions get made. Okay. So I like this. This is cool. Stock storehouse. I might want to take a look at. 7 is middle class house. Former captain's wife. What if I just combine these? What if I just take this, get rid of these, and just have like all of you living in the same upper class house? They could even actually still be part of the same family. That could have been how the previous Ute like worked. No, that's yellow. Okay, that's yellow. Good. So we'll do that. Middle class house. Bullet point. Pawn shop. Oh yeah. What's a thing? Not online. You know, someone had an interactive map of there we go. Okay, it is UESP. It's just like an ancient version of UESP. Town map. Okay, here we go. What was I looking at here? I got here and I'm like, wait a minute. What was I trying to look up? Pawn shop. Middle class house. Right. I was looking for something that we don't already have here that might make for an interesting silversmith, actually. We don't have a silversmith. Frollo's house, Jafar's books. Cartographer's shop. Burning Pyre, Old Corner. A locked house, a locked house, a locked house. Silversmith Chrysandra. Hmm. Hmm. Saloon is a Forgotten Realms god. Gods beginning with S. Sai Sanguine Satakal Sep. Sep Silver? But he's an Imperial. Shior. Shazar is the Cyrodiilic, yeah. So Shazar. Anything maybe to do with silver? Nothing crazy. Stendar. Stendar Silver. Stendar Sorrow. Okay. I don't dislike Stendar Silver. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Stendar 2 R's, yes. And then we have this one open. Pool boy. And we do need some more people for the House of Eyes, actually, just in general. I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, Ramanon and then Ramathin. So... Remazin, Alshar. I like Sharin. Remezi Alsharin? Remezi. Okay. Pool boy. Pool boy? Boy of the pool. That's right, that's like the scrying pool that was in... Oh yeah, and that's a good reason why not to have the, fortune teller, because House of Eyes is doing that. So we can just have that there. That's fine. We can have the same, functionality. Obviously, I go to this page a lot. Male red guard names. Give me like a... Wow, there's really not a whole lot in Skyrim, is there? These Kinther, Kithlon. Kelvin. Kellen Jair. I want something that sounds a little like diminutive. Something that sounds a little... Beer Gagny, Gaiden Shinji. Yeah, there he is. Sabir, Sabua, Sabor, Tuk Sahor. Charge Sahil. Something will hit. Penet Namazin, Nimshot, Polar. I like P for some reason. I'm liking the P names. Penet. I don't dislike. Regime, Pitoff. Payman. Um. Oh well, pool boy. Pennet. Penethar. Hmm. No, it can't be Penoosh. That's raw. That's bad. That's very close to Pinus. Um, uh, Penfear. Yeah, all right. Penfear. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Oh, this guy. Yeah. Made a random name table. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I always like new resources for names because I have to come up with shit tons of them all the time. Um, hey, it's been all right. It's been a week. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, my partner had thyroid surgery, so I have been taking care of them and hanging out and helping them heal. So it's been good and also a just a very different experience. I do love having her around all the time though. As much as it's sort of outside of my normal routine. It's outside of both of our normal routines, really. Yes, and me DM. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was successful. She's all good. She's just dealing with the sort of bodily changes that taking her thyroid out is happening because it's a chemical change within your body. Your body has to sort of learn to compensate with the other side and see how that goes. As part of his daily work, he was taken in. some reason I was reading Al-Sharin again, and I was like, why does that sound so familiar? Why does that sound like? And I was thinking of the name Ed Sheeran, which is not close enough for that to be an actual issue. All right, so we've got a female red guard. We've got a child helping out with the pool. Temple of Tuaka is where Hafsa is. House of Eyes is different. That's the divination stuff. Didn't I have a character in there? I'm gonna look through the archives here for a second. The writing archives. Archive. Psychopomp, which was mine. No, Psychopomp was the one in the temple. That's right. I'm looking for Hidden Heritage, which I do not like this quest. This was a weird. This was a weird one. And at this point, I don't really actually have plans to revive this, except for some of the things with the young crowns, because that part I do like. Nice. Yeah, we're still looking for writers. We have stuff going on right now, mainly in the town of Snowline, which is a lot of our Reachman content for. Oh, I just cut this, and I was just playing with it and kind of cut the string. Oh well. Which is the bulk of our Reachman content for High Rock and the 3K area. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of room for Reach Folk stuff, so it's probably going to be the bulk of the Reach Folk content for the whole project. So if you're interested in that, get in on that, and then once I get done a lot of this, we should be starting in on Stros M'Kai writing. So yeah, extra hand is always helpful. I am definitely a stickler for writing, though. I will let you, and although I will say, whatever you apply with, I will give you feedback if I don't feel like it's up to snuff. I always give people feedback. Discord, I saw a meme about how Somerset Isles is complicated. Yeah, it's a weird situation, and this all happened, honestly, before I joined. So it's sort of something that I didn't have a stake in, and don't really have any, specialized knowledge about, but essentially what happened was, there was a Somerset Isles project, from what I understand. It might have just been a temp project to begin with, but it did exist. It started floundering and having some issues with, as honestly a lot of the projects had before 2020, issues with scope and scale and how to actually implement the ideas that they had. And what ended up happening was they sort of put that project on ice, and kept a lot of the lore documents, kept a lot of the concept art, which is still being used by projects that need Somerset and Dominion writing about them and certain assets. But it is not actively being worked on right now. And right now, the person who is sort of the keeper of the Somerset project, the person who was left nominally in charge of when it would come back, is really not open to reopening that project until at least the full Cyrodiil is out. Whether I agree with that decision or not, not I don't 100% agree with that decision. But it's not really my horse, and it's nothing that I've been like campaigning for, but that's the situation that we are in. Yeah. My cat just keeps like sitting right outside the door here and just like, oh, here, I'm just gonna eat myself. You don't have a problem with this, do you? I absolutely do, sir. That would be a heck of an implementation job. Let me look at, this is on the YouTube side. 1 second, because I didn't see that that comment that got cut off there. I suppose it's a good idea as my PC would go all Punisher on the Thalmor for what they did to her family. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of like anti-Thalmor stuff. I wonder if that's like honestly one of the reasons why they put it on ice is because a lot of people are looking for like the second Great War content, and that's just not really in the cards for us implementing that kind of stuff, because that is, I mean, God, Bethesda struggled with the Civil War. A second Great War is it's a task. It's not one that I'm gonna do. I tell you that much. I ain't gonna be involved in that. Okay, House of Quills was the person that I had someone aligned with. Didn't Quill merge, Crown merge. Okay, so there was no one else. And Zayud was the... I mean, I could just repurpose him. Zayud al-Shifra. I mean, the House of Quills is not even going to be anywhere near here. So I might just go for it and reuse him. Also, I'm realizing that old me did not capitalize that correctly. It is that, and I'm going to switch him to an off just for variety's sake. What else he got? Anything else? Collected, insightful, patronizing, sure. I think that was with the original plan for Skyrim's end, and how TA6 was with Thalmor having one. I don't know. I haven't heard any evidence to that end. It's possible, but honestly, I kind of doubt it. The way that they did the time skip with Skyrim makes me think that they are purposefully skipping over those larger like world events because it is hard to implement, and so they are doing, you know, they're doing the stories of the aftermath there where they can be a bit more grounded. And I think that was kind of part of the idea of Skyrim anyways, because Skyrim wanted to... I know the design team wanted to get back to kind of Morrowind with that, and a bit more of a, like, local story that has local significance, but isn't like a huge world-ending threat. Oh well, I mean, I guess they did that with Alduin, but even that is like not. I mean, I guess theoretically, um, what is it? Dagathur would have been a world-ending threat if he had gotten out of Morrowind, but that just isn't what happened. Are there going to be unique mage robes? Yes, someone is modeling them right now. We have concept art for them. In fact, I can grab the concept art right now somewhere. Mage robes, concept art. Help me out. There it is. This is the concept art for the Hammerfell mage robes. I think we've shown this off before, but I know someone is working on, the basic forms of this that then we're going to, recolor a bunch of times for all these different sets. I mean, I think he was, but Alduin was still, as far as we know, largely a local threat. As far as like the dragon, he didn't seem to resurrect dragons outside of Skyrim. So like within the course of the story, he was a local threat in the same way that Dagathur, there was blight storms, but he wasn't actually like acting outside of the province at all. He wasn't really acting outside of Vardenfell at all. Because what is it? Mournhold didn't didn't see any of that. But if that progressed without the main character intervening, that would have been a global threat. And I think that's kind of where Alduin sits. He is a local threat currently, but if the last Dragonborn hadn't come in, he would have become a global threat and actually like eaten the world or whatever. That's a bunch of stuff that I don't need to show. Yeah. So who else, Shifra? What are you going to do? What are you going to be? Patronizing, condescending. So like young. Maybe Bethesda is planning towards a greater threat, similar to how they did with the Oblivion Crisis. Remember they were planning something similar up to Oblivion. I honestly don't 100% know what you mean that way. And they might be building to something bigger, they might not. I honestly don't devote brain space to speculating about stuff like that, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what I think. They're going to do what they're going to do. And that really has more to do with the individual writers and implementers and designers on the team right now than it does with any previous actions by Bethesda. Because they are not one entity. They are a collection of team members that has changed over the last 15 years since Skyrim. So, honestly, if I was going to guess, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be more like Starfield than it is going to be like Skyrim. And the changes that way are going to be from in reaction to Starfield. So in terms of what they push writers to focus on and do that way. It's going to be more about that relationship than it's going to have anything to do with Skyrim, to be honest. If I wanted to do retextures for the Beyond Skyrim, who would I ask for permissions? No one. You can just do it. Yeah, go for it. No, it's all open permissions. You can just go for it. If you want to credit the team, great, awesome. Would be appreciated, but not necessary. Divining progeny is youth, and his how often do I get to name locations? Kind of regularly, to be honest. I know I named several locations on the Kespar and Hearn. I named the two Dwemer dungeons. I named the the Ravanu Oasis. I named Hunding's Vale, Zamhai Dohern. I did not name Eno Herna, that was before. I named several of the shipwrecks around the Abyssion, but that only really comes up in the course of the quest. I did help in naming the interior cells of Eno Herna. So, like, quite a bit writers are involved in the naming of locations. Or the editing of those names. Because a lot of times, like, level designers will put in temp names or joke names. Like, Zamhai Dohern was originally called Gazelle's Buttock. Just because a level designer was like, I don't know what to name this, here you go. Gonna shoot off 2 a.m. here? Yeah, have a good night. Thanks so much. It's only about 8 o'clock here. I'll probably be on for another... Oh man, I've almost been streaming for 2 hours. I've got a little bit left that I want to do here, but I will probably head off around like 8:30, 8:45, and then hang out for the rest of my night, which won't be too long because my partner is... I love her to death. She's not all that much older. She's only like 2 or 3 years older than me, but she's an old woman when it comes to sleep. She likes to go to sleep early. So probably by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll be in bed anyway. So yes, I think I am going to have these be all part of the same family because that's kind of interesting. And his use of divination. Helped. Alert his coastal village to an incoming Thalmor raid. Which was able to be repelled due to Would it take a lot of time? It depends. I could start my second computer here and see what I can get done that way really quick. I think most of the time would actually just be taken on how the player is going to get their hands on that. Otherwise, it's mostly just copying over records into a new ESP. And he overestimates. There you go. The Guides of Guilds of Divination. This is going to be a specific local mages guild that focuses in divination. And then there will be other local mages guilds that will focus in other aspects of magic. So it's not that divination itself is huge, but yeah. There will be like local mages guilds. And divination is, I think, something we are definitely going to focus on more in Hammerfell than anywhere else. Maybe some in High Rock? Probably some in High Rock. They got crystal balls and things for divination. But it definitely feels appropriate for Hammerfell, I think. Making a version where you get it via console. Yeah, I could. Especially I could do like I did with light spells and just make it available to folks. Well, okay. I may not want to do that until it's actually like Nexus ready because it's not my asset. The actual leather armor is not my asset. As opposed to the light spell staff, which was just a vanilla asset in my own work. How's the writing for High Rock? Snowline is coming along pretty well. We are actually getting into... I need to do some final passes for some of the NPCs there, but we are getting to starting up quest writing for Snowline and the surrounding areas. So that's good. The city... Johanna is still upcoming, but I've kind of wanted to go slow on Johanna, because Johanna, at this point, it's like the third time we've tried to write it. And I really do want to have a good idea of everything else going on around Johanna before we tackle the city itself. Yeah, alright. I think I could hop off of this for a second. Go. Oh my god, I'm so glad it's not White Lily everything anymore. And we're going to keep a lot of the previous writing in spirit. We're just not going to keep a lot of the dialogue written for it, because it was kind of... A lot of the NPCs were a little too simple. And didn't really have a lot interesting to say. So we're going to take a lot of those character concepts and just spice them up a little bit. Like actually, give them some stuff to say. While also shifting around some of the things that are not as much of a big deal anymore. Like previously, when we were writing Johanna, like giant bats were going to be a large thing, and that was sort of a misinterpretation of what we were looking at for the giant bat assets. They were going to be a dragon replacement, and they're not anymore, so it's not going to be quite as large of a threat on the city, so we're going to focus on other elements. Quest with an NPC named Deirdre Imardin. That does sound familiar. One second. Deirdre Martin. Oh wait, Gift of Charlantry. Oh my god. Ugh. This whole thing. Yeah, wow. This is actually a funny thing. To be honest, no. Johanna is not what I'm most excited to work on. I'm most excited for Stros. Is a funny thing, because this, if you were like around earlier and there was this NPC, this did eventually get implemented and was like the only thing implemented for Johanna in the old height map, and it was just bad. it was just not a good quest. It's just a really bad quest. It was, I don't even know how many instances of go here, talk to this person, go here, talk to this person, go here, talk to this person. You did not a goddamn thing in that quest. Like, you as a player did nothing. I like the name. But yeah, I remember actually Thingy fired up that old height map and his plugin that had this implemented, and we played through it, and we were like, this is... it's just not a whole lot of anything. At the time, I think the stated goal of the quest was that it would be like a preview for everything else going on in the city. So it just like talks about a bunch of other things happening, but doesn't do anything with it. It's just like, hey, go talk to this person. And this person talks to you about this gang that is happening and is doing some other stuff, and then just sends you off to the next person to talk about some like other issue that's going on outside of the city. And it's like that these should just have their own quests if they're interesting enough to be included in a quest. They should not be just like thrown in as these weird asides for this quest. So yeah, that was one of the things that when I came in as writing lead about a year after this was written, it looks like. Well, October, about maybe a year and a half. That was one of the things that I really had to encourage people out of. That like, no, we gotta focus on. And also one of the issues with this was that for some reason the old writing team, like before I became writing lead, wanted to do quests first. So don't do that. Don't create your NPCs first and then use them for quests, because when you have quests first, you don't have any NPCs to work with, so people were just creating NPCs whole cloth within their quest documents, and then people would go off and write 2 separate quests and have 2 smithies for the same village, or 2 like captains of the guard of the city or whatever. And it was a mess. It was an absolute garbage mess. Like, do not do that. Have there were no documents like this. There were no documents like this where we're just like, here's all the NPCs, here's the concepts behind them, this is what you can use. It was just kind of anarchy. And that is not how writing for this kind of a project goes. At least not if you want the project to be successful. So I think I had a plugin set aside. Yes, IBHR leather armor. But yeah, you do need an amount of pre-planning and organization if you want projects like this to go well. That's just how it is. IBHR leather armor. Oh, okay, I did already copy stuff over. Sweet, alright. Got all this. Leather armor add-on, constructible object, perfect. Beautiful, and this is the... That's the recipe armor. Actually, I am noticing... Constructible object. Temper armor is what I need. Temper... IBHR temper armor. Thank you. This is what I need. Copy as... copy as new record into... Removed from the other IDs. Remove the prefix, suffix. That's all fine. Cause error message is when loading. Yes. IBHR.esp. Yes, fantastic. Constructible object, armor add-on, armor. And then we save. Save that plugin. Come back over here. VHR leather armor. Control delete. Control delete. Set as active file. Who's my favorite character in Stros M'Kai right now? That's a good question, actually. I mean, I love the Ute. I've been so excited to write this guy. And I'm sort of excited about... I love him because he's meant to be hated. And I love characters like that. I love writing someone that the audience is meant to hate. And that, I'm just very excited for that. Is one of the reasons that I really like running Dark Sun for Dungeons and Dragons, because depicting all of the Sorcerer Kings, which you're meant to hate, is so much fun. Is Daggerfall still... oh, Daggerfall ain't started, honey. Daggerfall is nothing right now. That's gonna be a long time coming. We still gotta get plants for the, like, flora and fauna for the surrounding area for Daggerfall. Architecture, actual city layout and planning. There's no way I'm working on Daggerfall until, like, there is an actual city layout down. I generally don't work on any writing for areas until level design is in a state. If you're able to release that on Nexus, it would be fine. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. But no, Daggerfall is way out. Save that. Where could I put it? Where could I put it? What is in the in Dainty Slowed? Okay, yeah. And that's like... Yeah, that's a whole quest location. So I don't super duper love that. That's generally how I write it, yeah. And it's not that level design needs to be complete, but it needs to be in a place where we know the general layout and amount of buildings for a settlement. Like if I go back to Port Hunding over here, I didn't start this until we had this layout. Like the Port Hunding went through several layouts before we finalized on this. And this gives us, because within a certain size of building, you're only realistically going to be able to have a certain amount of beds, which means you then have a limit for how many NPCs that you can put in that building. And then times that by the amount of buildings, modify by whether it's a lower class building, which tends to be smaller, or an upper class building, which tends to be larger, and then you get a general population size. Without that, if I'm just flying blind, it vastly increases the possibility of errors. And that's generally what I don't want to do. I don't really want to spend all this time writing and then have to go back and rewrite stuff. Which, you know, has to happen anyway, but keep that to a minimum, obviously. So yeah, that's my logic. Oh, who's looking in? Someone's looking in. Maruta, sweet. Oh, glass house. I'll just put a note here. So he can take a look and do whatever edits that he wants. Right, interactive map. I know that there is a there's another shipwreck up there that I don't think is really used for anything. Broken ore. Dainty Sloat is down over there. Orphan's Tear. I don't think that's really used for anything. Let me make sure. It's occupied by 3 bandits. Yeah, just Radiant quests and a Creation Club thing. So, cool. Sorry if this was already explained, but that one build of High Rock shown off back in 2014. I didn't join until 2020, so I don't know about the 2014 version. I know there was one shown off in 2018 in a stream. Let me see if I can find that real quick. 2018 High Rock. Whoa. 2018 High Rock Iliac Bay. It wasn't just High Rock, it was Iliac Bay. Yeah, this one. So this was in 2018, where this was shown off. And this, I mean, Iliac Bay team is still focusing on finishing the first 2 islands. Yeah, we're finishing up Caspar and Hearn, which is our primary focus, and then now we're really starting to move in earnest over into Snowline and Stros M'Kai and some of those other areas. So fun story about this, which is a little bit of like just history of this project and stuff like that, since you've asked. When I came into the project in the later half of 2020, I was sort of thrown by downloading the build and seeing that it was completely unchanged from 2018. Like, not a shred of work had been done on it. That plane of water that is up there was still floating up there 2 years later. And I thought that was a little weird. And then working with them for another like 6 months, I realized, oh, it's because this project is kind of a mess. I actually ended up quitting the project because it was so tiring to work on and really not getting anywhere. Until a whole bunch of stuff happened in the beginning of 2022 and the leads left, and, you know, then I was brought back on as writing lead, Garth took over as creative lead, and we were left with this same build, which has so many issues. Like, so many issues. I don't know if I'll be able to catch a specific frame. This is looking eastward from... Yeah, I don't know if this is visible into... I think that actually looks like that might be Hammerfell over there. Sightlines were terrible. You could see straight into the center of the Alakir Desert from Daggerfall, and it really did not feel good. It felt like the whole world was like 7 feet long. No, not really. I mean, like, we did reset the exterior level design here, but that's all that we reset. And some of that did come with, like, getting rid of a bunch of textures that didn't make the transition over from Legendary Edition to Special Edition very well, because Special Edition added specularity, which is how shiny a texture is. Legendary Edition just did not have that function. And if you did not set specularity within the texture, it just defaulted to 100%. So there are certain textures... I don't know if I'll be able to just catch one going around here. Actually, wait, I can swap us over to the Iliac Bay CMC. Iliac Bay CMC 2023. Decision to reset our height map and level design. There you go, where we described a lot of these issues. And I can swap over to, yeah, height map reset. So there were some...
Without much in between. The height map reset has given us an opportunity to make our roads feel more winding and natural.
Yeah, that's level design. Where's 3D? So, like, these are part of the old 2018 build that are... you know, assets that were really never meant to be final, and they were actually taken from Tamriel Rebuilt Oblivion, so they're crazy low poly for Skyrim. But, and like these, there's a old this was from an old defunct Oblivion Lord of the Rings project. Like, this is like pieces of Minas Tirith. And I'll be able to... I'm pretty sure there should be a showcase of the specular textures that did not work. Yeah, there's some of these textures that just broke. Floating water that was just always there. Yeah, here you go. You can see the grassland back here is like crazy shiny for no reason, and that's because they made the textures for Legendary Edition, and then they just got ported over. And in the, I don't know, 4 years since since Special Edition, no one bothered to fix them. Same thing with these broken 3D models just being left around. It was just kind of chaos. So yes, we reset that exterior level design and got rid of a bunch of, just cleaned the build up, which made it so much more usable. Oh my god, this this height map was unreleasable. It was so crash prone and awful to work in. Like, there was no way we would be where we are if we just kept going with this old height map. It would have been garbage. It would have been terrible. And then, you know, we took the opportunity to fix a bunch of the sightline issues and a bunch of other issues. And I'm really happy with where we are right now, actually. But, you know, for a more, if you have not seen the 2023 Creation ModCon video where we describe all of this, I have snippets from all the different leads on how the, you know, what within their department made them decide to sign off on the height map reset and what that has done to benefit them. So, you know, it is all available here at the Showcase 2023. Yeah. And I don't have it loaded up. You have to load up, like, the old height map and an old version of BS Assets and a bunch of stuff. And last time I did that, actually, to make this video, was when I last did that. It completely borked my whole Skyrim. I had to just completely uninstall Skyrim and delete all of my files and reinstall it. Because it fucked everything. So that's my little story. And then, alright, just funny bit of, like, drama while I'm here. The lead on the old height map that left at the beginning of 2022, it was actually all about Kespar, which is the islands that we're working on now. That wasn't supposed to be our focus at the time, but they had it in their head that they needed Kespar to be... I don't know if I can find it. We were just looking at it. There we go. Because this was old Kespar. And they had it in their head that this needed to be, like, a city. That Chora was, like, 20-something interiors. It needed to be that. And you can see this was old Chora. It takes up a huge portion of this island. There basically wasn't anything else on this island besides a city, one Dwemer ruin, and that's it. And a lot of us, you know, had to bring up the issue like, hey, we need things to quest within. We need, like, areas for players to, like, go and explore. And they were just adamant that they couldn't do that. And that argument is what eventually caused the old lead to quit, just kind of out of frustration. Because, look, when you have this idea and everyone's telling you gotta eventually question, hey, is it me who is wrong? Because it's not always the children who are wrong. And yeah, then he, like, basically as we decided to do this height map reset, he, like, came back and made a council complaint. Because, like, Beyond Skyrim is a bunch of different projects, but there is also a council of the leads of most of the projects that help to resolve disputes and stuff. You know, basically, like, keeping everyone on the same page with certain things. And there is like a charter as well for how projects are supposed to behave and whatnot. And he made a council complaint and like did this whole thing. I got pulled into it, even though at the time I was like, I had come back as writing lead. I was not writing lead. I was just a writer. And it was super, super messy, and basically ended up with the council being like, you left of your own volition, my dude. You can't just come back 2 months later and demand the project back. Like, that's not how any of this works, my friend. Like, you can apply to be on the team, but you left. You did that. And it was just most of the people who were left did not want him back, because he was he was not like the greatest presence. Not super conducive to a lot of collaborative world building. So yeah, that was just a weird experience going through that, as like within the first like week or two of me becoming writing lead. I was like, dude, I'm over here trying to like trying to get together NPCs for an island that, we should have been working on ages ago, and I do not have time to debate about people being mean to you about your kittens that you should have killed. And I mean that as a writing within the writing sphere. Killing your kittens is a common I've also heard people say kill your children, but it's a common writing term for like your super special idea that you have might not actually be the best thing for the work as a whole. So sometimes you do need to like scrap those ideas that you think are super cool and whatnot, because it just doesn't work here. And that's okay. That's a part of the process. It's something that I always say to writers when something like that comes up is ideas can be recycled. You can always bring back that idea in a different context where it makes more sense, but sometimes it just doesn't work, in the thing that you thought about it for. Killing your darlings is another way to say it, yes. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they thought that. I know that there was like an old lore like lore compendium that had been written, but it wasn't written by them, and it was written several years beforehand. So I guess they might have just been taking that as gospel, but like a lore scale and game scale are two very different things. So who knows? But that is this right up here is the thing that led to the current team that we have on Iliac Bay right now. And it was messy, and it was not fun at the time, but man, I love the team that we have now, and I wouldn't have it any other way at this point. Because we all now just work really well together. What was it that they were trying to do? Do you mean with this? Because I honestly have no idea what their idea was with this. What were they trying to do with the council complaint? They just wanted the project like given back, like to come back as lead. And it's like, dude, if you just like left of your own volition and then ghosted for 2 or 3 months at that point, like, I don't know what to tell you. You can't just kind of rage quit like that if you're the lead of a project, because it needs leadership, and if there's a power vacuum, it is going to be filled. Yeah. Oh, what the lore thing that they were so fixed on? They were very adamant that this city had to exist at a city scale on this teeny tiny island, when it was like, you know, you can see that this takes up a huge portion of this island, and it basically was just like this and one Dwemer ruin, and that was kind of it. There was like these other little like houses over here and like a dock over here, but there was one dungeon for an entire city. And it was just unfeasible. Thanks so much. Plugin actually is ready in terms of just having it available. All I really need to do now is go to Orphans Tiers. No, it would be in an exterior. So Tamriel, Orphans Tier exterior. Hi. Hello, there you go. Like, why don't I'll just put it in here for right now. What are you? Level Bandit Wizard, that's fine. Treasure Bandit Chest. So why don't I just take a knapsack. Treasure knapsack empty. Actually, I might need to do IBHR. Yeah, IBHR treasure knapsack. Armor, fine. Create new object. Nope, thank you. Hey, just give me the asset. Thank you. Let me go over here. Good. Floor. Let's kind of have it leaning up there. Boom. Have this item list. IBHR armor. Armor. All of this stuff. Put it in here. Okay. And theoretically, that's all I would really need to do. Make sure I have the world model. Iliac Bay armor, peasant leather. Peasant leather boots go.nif. And then I could just package that up, and I might make it like extra quest to just get rid of this. Data. Maybe HR leather armor, copy that. In here, and then I would need meshes. Yes, Iliac Bay. Armor. Peasant leather. Oh god, right. There's like the extra permutations. Pez ANT or ENT? ANT. Bees. Peasant leather. I don't like that it's still called peasant leather, but like whatever. I don't feel like going through and actually redoing all the stuff. Chest, boots, first person. You need a first person model for armor? Okay, this is a very old asset, so I don't know who was doing that. Oh, right, the helmet for Argonians and Kashyyyts and stuff. I think might be necessary. Go, go, go. Definitely is correct. Mm. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. An NPC would be great. And I generally wouldn't worry about doing like a branching, like full side quest. Just a miscellaneous task would be fine. I just want to get a basic idea of like how you think about structuring a story. And miscellaneous task is, you know, that as much as a branching task is. And plus, you know, I don't want to be reading 20 pages. 5 pages, perfectly fine. Let me get this loaded back up, and then I'm going to. It's almost already 9 o'clock. I'm actually going to get this finished though. I'm gonna pee. Come back. As I was like, I thought I heard people coming in like voice chat. Were people coming in voice chat? There's- I did nix the fortune teller as we have the House of Eyes doing divination stuff. Cool. Alright, yeah. Good. IBHR armor. So that's the... Oh yes, okay. Default race. And then I have to swap to... like, Khajiit race. Oh, that's the boots. So, helmet. Khajiit race. Leather helmet go. Peasant leather helmet KHAAA. Okay. So there are some extra armor add-ons that I need. Boots AA. Boots _1.nif. Okay. So I might just actually need all of those various. So I don't know where the first person peasant leather chest is used. But what if I'll just copy all this in. Place files. There you go, there's all that. And then get rid of that. Need to go in here and select none. Try leather armor. Oh, dang it. Actually, because it's not going to automatically load up leather armor, assets, Iliac Bay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Iliac Bay. I need armor add-on. Peasant leather. RKH. Just to make sure I did not copy that already into armor add-on. Oh, I did. Okay. Trickle object. Container. World space edit. Okay. So actually, I think that should be fine then. Okay, meshes, and then I'll need textures. Textures, BS Iliac Bay, armor, yep. Textures. this. Iliac Bay. Armor. Peasant leather. A&T. A&T. Placeholder chest. I'm guessing that's not actually necessary. Boom, beautiful. Alright. Reach our leather armor. So. Nope. Let's just real quick test that out. Turn that on. Run. Yeah, start Steam. Oh, here, wait, actually. Unlock. Get rid of Iliac Bay and SE just to make sure. Get rid of Skyrim. Do it again. Just to make sure, IBHF 1 should come out to nothing. This is not going to find it. Good, perfect. COC Whiterun. Cool. TMM1. What is it? I'm forgetting what the console command is for toggling whether enemies recognize you. Dang it. Oh well. It's fine. TDM. Go all the way up here, go to Orphans Tier. Is it toggle? T-detect. Thank you. That's what it is. No, wrong console command. It's T-detect. And there's your mage. And there you go, knapsack. Reddick leather armor, boots, gloves, helmet. Nope. Items. Gloves, helmet. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So, I will zip this up and show it to the team and see what they think about it. Yeah. So there we go. We got a mod finished. And while I'm at it, player.add item 0800590111. No. Player.add item 0800590111. Enter. Thank you. Torchlight. Now you can even take my torchlight staff. Haha. And this works too. I did actually do some work on light spells myself, actually. Help. Wisp 0. I got this guy, the
Gold solves most problems, doesn't it?
Wisp familiar. Oh, thank you so much. Player dot add spell 0800 AA08. So this was a bit of a weird one. So I got, switch you over to the left. Conjuration, Wisp familiar. I got him to glow. He glows a lot more like I actually want, but he's not casting light on the environment like it does if you do the staff. So I'm gonna have to look at that a little more to get him to actually cast light. But I am on my way with light spells. We're getting there. And now Bredic leather armor, I guess. Might have that. So yeah. Nice way to end the stream. And thank you all for the tips for doing stuff. And in fact, if you want to see some more of my work before I head off, I did just set up a Ko-fi page. That I have, I've set up like the stream on there, and, oh, there we go. Like the stream, so this will appear up on the front page of that Ko-fi. But I also have some stuff that I can't sell on DM's Guild, some Cyberpunk Red content and some Dark Sun stuff. And I intend to put up more tabletop stuff in the near future. I didn't end up working on the what is it? Outer Beatian tabletop like I've been chipping away at today, but I do want to do that soon. So eventually, you know, this will also be up on this Ko-fi page for people to use for their campaigns if you have an Elder Scrolls D&D campaign going on, something like that. So you can explore the Outer Beatian with your party as well. In fact, getting shots of dungeons was something that I wanted to do today, but I'll do that next time. Spent more than enough time, and this was a fun one. So yeah, check out that Ko-fi page if you are so inclined. I'm gonna go down and smoke a little weed and get ready for bed. So yeah, nice end to this day. You all have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day. See you later.